A very good afternoon. It is 1 p.m. here in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, and you are just in time for The Ambassador with me, your Ambassador Susan Nganga, where this is where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. To our first story in the bulletin, improvised explosive devices detonated on a busy road in northeastern Nigeria, killing at least 26 people in several vehicles, including women and children. An Islamic State group affiliate in the West African country claimed responsibility for the Monday attack. Jeff Abuki with more.
The attack targeted vehicles traveling between the towns of Bana and Gamburu in Borno State. Police say that the bombs were planted by ISWAP, an Islamic State affiliate active in the region. Most victims are local farmers and traders in a pickup truck that had struck a landmine. At least 3 others were injured. ISWAP, faction of Boko Haram, claimed responsibility. The group continues to wage a brutal insurgency that has killed tens of thousands and displaced millions in Nigeria and its neighbors. This is Jeff Abuki, GBS TV News.
Amid escalating tensions between India and Pakistan, the United States is urging both nations to show restraint and avoid further provocation. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is expected to speak with the foreign ministers of both countries as early as today or tomorrow, as Washington steps up diplomatic efforts to de-escalate the situation, particularly in Kashmir. At a press briefing on Tuesday, U.S. State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce said the Biden administration is actively reaching out to both sides and encouraging other world leaders to do the same. Bruce emphasized the importance of direct dialogue, saying Secretary Rubio's engagement reflects the urgency of the moment and the United States' commitment to regional stability.
Regarding the Kashmir situation, India and Pakistan, that he said we are reaching out to both parties and telling, of course, them to not escalate the situation. The Secretary expects to speak with the foreign ministers of Pakistan and India as early as today or tomorrow. He is encouraging other national leaders, other foreign ministers, to also reach out to the countries on this.
Now to developing news in the Vatican. The Catholic Church prepares for a new chapter. Over 130 cardinals will gather next week in a closed-door conclave to elect the next pope, an event steeped in tradition but influenced by today's global division. Jeff Abuki reports.
Vatican analyst Reverend Tom Rees explains the challenges facing the over 130 cardinals who will have to gather next week to choose the next pope. They are divided on issues such as the blessing of the same-sex marriages, the handling of the sex abuse crisis, and the role of women in the church.
Looking at as they go into the conclave, first of all, is the legacy of Pope Francis. Are we going to have a pope who gets up and says, Francis was a disaster, we need to go back to the old church? I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to find someone who supported Pope Francis, who is in touch with his legacy and wants to continue it, but we're not going to find anybody like Pope Francis. There's just nobody like him. It's going to be a different personality.
But Rees is convinced that they will also look for someone who will respect the legacy of Pope Francis and attempt to continue his work.
Cardinals from countries that are predominantly Muslim don't want a pope getting up and saying, Muslims, they're, infidels, we shouldn't have anything to do with them. That would be a disaster for the church in their area. On the other hand, the African church, the African cardinals are more concerned about, a pope who has a gay agenda. They were very, this is one of the areas where they were not in sync with Pope Francis on the question of blessing gay couples. So each part of the world has issues that they're especially concerned about.
Even though cardinals don't campaign for the job of pope, they are always front-runners going into a conclave to choose the next pontiff. The conclave process remains deeply secretive and not a popularity contest. Only cardinals under the age of 80 are eligible to vote, and the next pontiff must receive a 2/3 majority. The choice is purely spiritual. This is Jeff Abuki, GBS TV News, Nairobi.
As we always say, only time will tell. Tragedy has struck the Swedish city of Uppsala, where police have confirmed that 3 people have been killed in a shooting at an hair salon near Vaskassa Square in the city center. The gunman fled the scene on a scooter and remains at large. Authorities have launched a full-scale manhunt with police helicopter assisting in the search. A large area has been cordoned off as a murder investigation gets underway. The incident occurred on the eve of the Spring Festival, a major celebration that draws large crowds to Uppsala, a university city north of Stockholm. In recent years, Sweden has seen a troubling rise in gang violence and shootings, prompting government calls for stricter gun control. Police say train services in the area were briefly halted to prevent the suspect's escape, but have since resumed. Now to Vietnam. Thousands of Vietnamese have poured into the streets to mark the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War, an event held by the country's communist leader as the, quote, victory over justice over tyranny. A grand parade in Ho Chi Minh City capped the commemorations with troops marching in formation and a dramatic air show featuring Russia-made fighter jets and helicopters. Red flags waved and patriotic song filled the air in a powerful show of national pride. In a symbolic gesture highlighting Vietnam's strengthening ties with Beijing, a contingent of 118 Chinese troops were expected to march alongside Vietnam's forces, an acknowledgement of the international support Vietnam received during its war for independence. The anniversary marks a pivotal moment in the nation's history. The fall of Saigon on April 30th, 1975, when communist North Vietnamese forces captured the US-backed South, bringing an end to a bloody 2-decade conflict that claimed the lives of some 3 million Vietnamese and nearly 60,000 Americans. The city was later renamed Ho Chi Minh City in honor of the North revolutionary leader.
Với những thành tích đặc biệt xuất sắc, cả 4 lực lượng 3 gồm các lực lượng lục quân, hải quân, không quân, viễn binh và nhiều lực lượng truyền thống hữu nghị, đoàn kết lâu đời giữa hai nước, quân đội Hoàng gia Campuchia và quân đội nhân dân Việt Nam.
And with that, Ambassador will take a short break. We'll be right back with even more.
Are you all happy to see me? Yes, I'm also very happy to see you. We're going to make, ta-da, a banana milk package. Now we're done with the banana milk package.
Topic of discussion, Leo, is a hustle culture. Hustle culture, and this is working smart versus working hard.
Working hard is where nina hustle. I'm working like a donkey.
Unaweza pata maybe ulisoma, yes, maybe kumaliza shule, maybe hii inahitaji maybe diploma, maybe ulifika certificate level. So I feel peer knowledge inachangia sana
Yes.
watu kukua kwa informal job.
You have to like plan. You also have to delegate, and it's also sometimes about convenience. What is convenience for you?
Tunaweza work smart hata kama ni kwa informal jobs, tuki-apply hiyo working smart, we can do something. Si lazima tu ikuwe ni kazi ile uko chini.
I'm picking a dare. What? Call your mom or dad and sing the chorus of their favorite song loudly. Mama Vanessa,
Just a second.
we are live on TV. I need to.
Which TV?
GBS TV. I'm on the Youth Hub and they want me to sing you a song. I've been dared to sing your favorite song. So
Don't sing that one, man.
No.
Sing yours.
No, I will sing a nice one. I know many of your songs.
Sing that song.
I sing Daddy's song, fine.
Loudly, read.
I love you.
Shout.
You're my baby. I love you. You're the best. Bye, mommy. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
I go.
My name is Tracy Otonde. I'm Miss County Nairobi and I'm also Miss Embakasi East. Modeling is an art by virtue of the model and by virtue of the designers. That's if we look at modeling in terms of pageantry, you're showcasing yourself. You yourself is a work of art. You're a work of art and you're showcasing everything that's in you and within you. And by virtue of the designer is because you keep showcasing the attires that they're made for you. And you have to look the part for you to be able to showcase what the designer was picturing. So yeah, modeling is an art.
Guys, we are here in Nairobi City, ready to dive into the Kenya creative energy here at the 4th Filmmaker Hangout right here at Nairobi Cinema. It's all about the stories, the cinema, and the people behind the magic. Come on, let's see what's happening.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to the bulletin now. 60 days into Israel's total blockade of Gaza, the humanitarian crisis has reached alarming levels, with severe shortages of food pushing some Palestinians to desperate measures. As airstrikes continue across the Strip, The global community, including the United Nations, is urgently calling for unified action to prevent further catastrophe. Abdihamid Ali has more.
In Gaza, despair deepens as Israeli blockade reaches its 60th day, cutting off essential supplies to a population already devastated by war. Palestinians faces extreme hunger, with reports emerging of people resorting to eating turtles to survive. The latest wave of Israeli airstrike killed at least 38 people on Tuesday alone, compounding the death toll and damaging civilian infrastructure. More than 52,000 civilians have died since the war began in October 2023. The United Nations has labeled the situation as a humanitarian catastrophe, urging immediate and coordinated international intervention to stop the suffering. At the same time, Western involvement in the region has expanded as US and British forces conducted airstrikes in Yemen, and as sectarian violence in Syria further escalated tensions in the Middle East. As global powers weigh military actions and political strategies, Palestinians in Gaza continues to endure unimaginable suffering. Without swift diplomatic and humanitarian efforts, the cost of inaction may resonate far beyond the borders of this besieged territory. This is Abdihamid Ali, GBS News.
A major diplomatic shift is unfolding in West Africa. The military-led governments of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger have thrown their government behind a Moroccan initiative that will give them long-sought access to the Atlantic Ocean through the Moroccan ports. The move follows their withdrawal from the ECOWAS bloc and growing tensions with Western allies as this Sahel nation deepen new partnership and shift regional dynamics. Morocco is positioning itself as a key trade and strategic partner. Here's more on that story from the Sahel region.
Burkina Faso and Niger have endorsed a Moroccan initiative to secure access to the Atlantic Ocean through Moroccan ports. The foreign ministers of the three landlocked military-led nations met with King Mohammed VI in Rabat, reaffirming their full support for the project. This move follows their withdrawal from ECOWAS and increasing isolation after sanctions were imposed. Now aligned as the Alliance of Sahel States, the trio has cut ties with Western partners and turned to Russia for military backing. Morocco's proposal offers a new trade lifeline, but it comes amid rising tensions with Algeria, who are their regional rival. Just weeks ago, Algeria claimed it shot down a Malian drone near the border, a charge Mali denies. This new partnership marks a turning point for the Sahel nations as they seek to redefine their place in a changing geopolitical landscape. With Morocco offering a vital trade lifeline to the Atlantic, the alliance signals both economic ambition and a clear break from old alliances. Elvin Muyodi, GBS News.
A major step for the Sahel states indeed. A wave of deadly drone strikes targeting Ukraine with devastating consequences. The attack left at least one person dead and dozens injured, including children and a pregnant woman. Kyiv, located near the Russian border, continues to endure attacks as Ukraine reels from another night of destruction. Global efforts at mediation face new challenges, with the United States warning it may withdraw from peace negotiations unless both sides offer concrete steps forward. Here's more on that scene.
Russian drone strike pounded civilian areas in Kharkiv and Dnipro late Tuesday night, injuring over 46 people and killing one man. In Kharkiv, which has suffered frequent bombardments, 16 airstrikes hit high-rise apartments, private homes, and a medical facility, displacing hundreds and injuring dozens. Eyewitnesses recounted terrifying moments as drones struck without warning. In Dnipro, a 53-year-old man lost his life and another was injured. while emergency crew battled fires sparked by the drones. As the Ukrainian population bears the brunt of these ongoing attacks, diplomatic efforts remain fragile, while Russian President Vladimir Putin has announced a symbolic ceasefire from May 8th to 10th to celebrate the anniversary of the Second World War victory. President Zelensky has urged for a longer 30-day ceasefire.
We all want this war to end in a fair way with no rewards for Putin, especially no land. And we all need to keep the pressure on Russia. Everyone can do their part to help us reach a full and unconditional ceasefire as soon as possible for at least 30 days.
Zelensky also suggested Putin and Belarus are conducting military drills.
And look at Belarus. Russia is preparing something there this summer, using military drills as cover. And that's usually how they start a new attack.
While the United States has signaled its willingness to exit its mediation role if neither side offers a viable path towards peace.
We are now at a time where concrete proposals need to be delivered by the two parties on how to end this conflict. How we proceed from here is a decision that belongs now to the President. If there is not progress, we will step back as mediators.
With each passing day, the human cost deepens, revealing the fragility of short-term ceasefires. The continued targeting of civilians and loss of innocent lives underline the urgent need for an immediate end to the 3-year war. This is Abdi Hamid Ali, GBS News.
And with that, we bid farewell to our reporter Abdi Hamid Ali here at the Ambassador. Now, supporters of Burkina Faso's military leader Ibrahim Traore has vowed to rally behind him and fully support his regime. This is after the Burkina government said it had foiled an attempted coup against Captain Traore and accusing America and France of influencing the country's politics. The leader has enormously transformed the Burkina Faso's economy for the real benefit of local citizens.
A bold salute to confirm to all and sundry of the sovereignty of his country. This is Burkina Faso's military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traore. He assumed leadership in September 2022 and has since spearheaded a bold transformation in Burkina Faso. He has broken away from the shackles of traditional entrenched foreign influence and steered the country towards self-reliance, driving economic reforms with the economy strengthened from $18.8 billion GDP to rise to $22.2 billion. Under his administration, agriculture, the backbone of Burkina Faso economy has seen unprecedented boost to ensure increasing productivity and food security. As well, he has reignited a renewed sense of sovereignty in the country. These bold steps to improve the welfare of his people and self-reliance, as well as commitment to ensure the sovereignty of Burkina, reducing foreign dependence, seems to have rubbed other foreign nations the wrong way. Listen to this American Major Colonel in altercation with Captain Traore.
The ruling elite of a country is receiving gratuities on the side that inure to the benefit of the strongman leader.
I see this, and I don't mind calling them out, but Captain Traore and Burkina Faso, as they know that both, whether it's their gold reserves, that is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime.
Is this a reminiscent of the assassination of the Pan-Africanist Burkina President Thomas Sankara in 1987? Can we draw any parallels between the happenings in Burkina Faso right now to those of the ouster of Libya's President Muammar Gaddafi in 2011? Aborted assassination attempt against Traore, alleged to be orchestrated by neighboring country Ivory Coast, was foiled by the junta military, a plot they say aimed at sowing anarchy in the nation.
France and the United States government needs to back off from any attempt to remove Captain Traore from office. Forget about your plan. He's our own. He is doing exactly what the people of Burkina Faso.
Very interesting politics to see. Now on to sports news. Barcelona are back in the Champions League tonight as they take on Inter Milan in a massive semi-final clash at the Camp Nou, with the Copa del Rey already secured and La Liga within reach. Hansi Flick's men are eyeing a historic treble in his debut season. But standing in their way is an Inter side known for their defensive resilience, and they'll need every bit it to contain Barca's ruthless attack. Our reporter Elvis Muyodi with the details.
Barcelona face Inter Milan in the Champions League semi-finals today, with the Catalans chasing a historic treble under Hansi Flick. Fresh from a dramatic 3-2 win over Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey final and sitting 4 points clear at the top of La Liga, confidence is surging at Camp Nou. Now attention turns to Europe, where Inter Milan's rock-solid defense, having conceded just once in the group stage, will be put to the test.
I don't think so. In the end, they are playing semi-finals of Champions League. It isn't the same than playing a Serie A league game. They're playing to pass to a final. I think they will do their best, like we will.
With Robert Lewandowski sidelined with an injury, Barca will look to rising star Lamine Yamal and the ever-dangerous Rafinha to lead the charge in attack.
I don't compare myself to anybody, and least of all to Lionel Messi. I leave it to you, to the media. As for you, as we only think of being a best player every day, so that kind of comparison doesn't make sense. And even more so with Messi, I try to enjoy, to be myself and follow my own path. I obviously admire him as the best player in the history of the sport.
The winner will book a place in the final in Munich, where either Arsenal or PSG awaits. For Barcelona, the path to a 6th Champions League crown and a truly unforgettable season is still wide open. Elvin Muyodi, GBS News.
With that sports news, we say it's the end of The Ambassador here at GBS TV Africa. Thank you for joining us as we uncover the latest developments. We'll continue to bring you updates on these stories and more as they unfold. Remember, this is The Ambassador, where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. I have been your ambassador, Susan Nganga. Have a good afternoon.
Everywhere, GBS.